What's poppin', everybody? Wolf94, and finally I have the cards to show you guys the Blaziken Firestarter deck with Blaziken GX right here. Super cool, super cool. And even though it does look super cool, I have to tell you guys up front that this deck is very, very hard to use because this guy is a stage 2, and the rare candy isn't the rare candy we had back in the days when this guy was actually good. The original card from EX Ruby was good. Okay, so the premise of the deck is energy acceleration from the discard pile, like with Malamar, like with Electric and Bronzong before it. Seen this a million times. The combo is basically the same. You put your fire energy, in this case in the discard pile. You bring out this Blaziken that has Firestarter, and we can grab those fire energies and attach them to our benched Pokemon. So there are a few benefits, even though we're a stage, this guy's a stage 2 as opposed to stage 1, but the downsides are more than the benefits, you could say. But anyway, the line is going to be 2 Blaziken GX and 2 of the Firestarter Blaziken. You can do like maybe 3 of this, it might be better. 3 of this and only 1 of this just doesn't seem very good. But at 2-2, because I don't really have a third one anyway, and we have a few other methods of getting the far energies in this deck. We'll talk about this soon, but these are basically your main Pokemon. It's probably going to be 3 of this or 2 of this and 1 or 2 of this respectively. So this guy, not only does he have the Firestarter ability, its attack Farstream is also pretty solid, doing 90 for 3 and then doing 20 to everybody else on your opponent's bench. You have to discard a fire energy afterwards, but it's a nice solid attack. Considering if you hit a full bench, the total damage is a lot, and you can soften up your opponent's Pokemon for some easier KOs over Blaziken or Turtonador, things of that nature. It's quite good. A few times you do want to attack with this Pokemon. It's in your interest to attack, actually. 150 HP stage 2 Pokemon. It'll probably take a hit and can dish some solid damage. The main Pokemon, of course, the main attacker is going to be the Blaziken GX. This guy is your guy that's going to get the one-hit knockouts. With Explosive Kick, we discard 2 fire energy and it can do 210. Even before any add-ons like Choice Band, that's enough to knock out most of the relevant Pokemon. Stage 1 GXs, and anything below that gets knocked out. So you guys can see this deck does have some potential to be good. You know, it has a lot of power, and it can get those one-hit knockouts. And when you do eventually get out these stage 2 Pokemon, stage 2 GX in this case with this guy, they have more HP, so maybe they're going to survive better. Now, unfortunately, space is quite a hassle in a deck like this, so it's not like I'm going to be able to take advantage of max potions and stuff. But, you know, it is what it is. We have that extra HP. We can do Explosive Kick. And the other attacks are decent, too. You can do 60 for 2 with Slash. That might come up. And then it's GX attack, Blaze Out GX. You probably won't use this, but it's there sometimes. It might come up. You can discard 2 energy from your opponent's Pokemon any way you like. Only 1 retreat cost. It's actually good. This guy has 2, and it can be troublesome. But, you know, it is what it is. Now, the line for this guy, I have 1 Combusken. You gotta have 1 of the stage 1. I wish I could run more than 1, but space is an issue, like I've said. Now, the Torchic line might seem a little weird here, but there's a reason why these guys are in here. Well, 2 of them anyway. So this is the one that has 70 HP. It has the best HP, and this can be pretty handy. When you have a Pokemon like this, it means that your opponent, if they're using something like Decide IGX, they gotta use the effect 4 times to get a KO on this guy if you don't manage to evolve it. So that extra HP does help. Then we have the one from the Dragon Majesty, 60 HP. This is probably the most balanced one. You want to run this guy because of Elm, and I have 1 only because I only have 1. And then I have 2 of the 50 HP ones. This guy looks really cute, but 50 HP is quite low. Now, the Ember attack can be quite strong for a basic Pokemon. Just doing 30 and then you discard it might help you out, set up the fire energies too while doing damage in the beginning. In very, very extreme situations, you never want to do something like this, but maybe sometimes it's the right thing to do. But what you should do is run, let's say, 2 or 1 of this, and then run 2 to 3, not this guy, but this guy, because it has 60 HP, so it's better than 50. But it's compatible with Elm, because we do run Elm in this deck, and Elm can't get this 7 HP Torchic. So it really depends. Maybe you want to use Apricorn Maker. I like Elm. I think it's just great. It grabs too much shit. Elm is just great, getting that extra card. And you know, the 60 HP though, 7 HP is better. So you can do a 2-2, so you can grab a couple with Elm, and then you usually reserve Elm for maybe getting a Shackle too. We'll talk about this soon. So the Torchic line, you can go both ways. You can favor the 70 HP one, or you can go with the 60 HP one completely. The balance is the best thing to do, I would say. Just maybe 3 of this and maybe 1 of this, or 2-2. Doesn't matter. But it's a 4 Torchic line, maximum Blaziken line. 4 of them, 2 GX and 2 of the regular one, and then the 1 Combusken. So this is the main Pokemon line, and you can actually just make the deck, and this guy can just work on its own. Blaziken can work on its own, but we need a little bit of help, a lot of help actually. So the rest of the Pokemon, besides Tapu Lele GX, they're Pokemon that basically help the setup, and Alolan Vulpix and the Tritornador GXs here. They're Pokemon that are just good things to open with that can help us, depending on what we open with. With Shuckle, we can use this Pokemon to instantly put the fire energies in the discard pile. So instantly set up the discard pile. And if we open with Tritornador GX, I can actually use a Nitro Tank GX attack, get a lot of fire energies, and quickly set up my Pokemon that way. Either this guy or Blaziken if we opt to get this guy out and not get this guy out first. So you get a lot of fire energies that way, and on your second turn, if you manage to do this combo and do things right, then you get a bunch of fire energies instantly. So 2 of this Shuckle, it's going to be pretty good. It's a great card that helps many decks from Lost Thunder. And we can grab this with Professor Elm too. So what you're usually going to do if you use Elm, you're going to probably grab maybe 1 or 2 of this, and then a few Torchics. It really depends. Maybe you're going to have a nest ball in your hand too, and maybe you're going to have, you have some of the pieces anyway, but we will grab Elm, Shuckle with Elm. Okay. And Alolan Vulpix, this guy also helps. When we open with this card, we can use Costless Beacon and get our evolution pieces. Basically a very useful card in any stage 2 deck, help you get your pieces like that. Now with Alolan Ninetales, the fairy one from Lost Thunder, you can actually use that Pokemon too. I don't own it, but it wouldn't be bad to maybe run a bigger line of Alolan Vulpix and run the Alolan Ninetales GX and drop the Tritornador GX combo and maybe Shuckle. And you just add the items with Alolan Ninetales and you discard the fire energies that way. The problem is this deck really just, it's harder for it to be used when we don't have things like Professor's Letter to get those energies in the hand and then discard them with Ultra Ball. It's much harder. That's why I kind of have to use Shuckle in this case, the Battle Compressor dude. Normally I wouldn't, you know, spend my bench space to get the fire energies instantly. But because we have Tritornador GX here too, then it just makes the combo a bit better. That, okay, I get the fire energies with Shuckle, and we can use this guy instantly and put instant pressure. So that's the point. Speaking of Tritornador GX, this is also a decent fire Pokemon with 190 HP. Is big. Shell Trap can be a good annoyance for your opponent, and Bright Flame, it can do some stuff, take care of some Pokemon. It's not going to be as strong as Blaziken GX's Blaze Kick. It's Blaze Kick, right? Explosive Kick, okay. But it can do some stuff. So 2 of this, maybe you want to run more, maybe you want to drop Vulpix. You want to drop this guy. It's just a bunch of things. But this is the most efficient way I have found to run the deck. We run 1 Tapu Lele GX, only 1, to help us with consistency, get us the Elm or Lily on the first turn, depending on the game state, what we have in the hand. There's no more room for any more. Bench space is going to be very, very tight. You have no idea how tight it is, especially in this deck. Okay, so these are the Pokemon. Now for the trainers, I gotta have the 3 Nest Ball. We really want to get our basic Pokemon instantly. And I do run 1 Net Ball. This is just for Shuckle, that's it. But you really want to get this. If you don't see this, if you see the Shuckle and then this card is dead, there's Ultra Balls, there's other sort of discarding cards. So it is what it is. But we'll have to maximize consistency as much as we can. I have the Ultra Balls too. You gotta have the 3 Ultra Balls as well. This is for getting Blazikens, and it is a discard outlet too for fire energies. So if we don't go the Shuckle route, maybe you're discarding a couple of these. You really just want to get those fire energies in the discard pile quickly. So 3 of the Ultra Ball. Once again, you can maybe run 4, maybe run a bunch of other discarding cards like Sightseer. Drop the Shuckle and build your deck kind of differently. I might do that in the future, but for now, I'm playing it like this. And this deck, no matter what, it's going to be really hard for it to do stuff. Now, I'm not sure if when Jirachi comes out from Dark Order, it'll probably help this deck out a lot. It's going to help out everything. But right now, this is the best build I could come up with. Okay, so back to the trainers. I talked about the balls. Those are all the balls. Your Ultra Ball, Net Ball, and Nest Ball. And we got the Acrobike. One of this, just draw a card, discard something. We have a few things we can. We're flexible with discarding, so maybe a few of this isn't bad. I got the 2 Field Blowers, standard tag. The 1 Rescue Stretcher, standard tag. You gotta have your 4 candies when you run a deck like this. It's pretty damn standard. And in a deck like this, switching cards are important too. I have the 1 escape board here for the floatstone and then 2 switches. Switching is very important in this deck. And to be honest, I actually should have run more switching cards, but hopefully because of things like Blaziken, they only have 1 retreat cost. Maybe it's not so bad if this guy is like active and he attacks. Maybe we'll be okay. But yeah, we can't run a Pokemon like Dawnwings the Crossma GX, and there's no Floatstone anyway. But switching is another problem that this deck has. You gotta switch, since Blaziken puts the fire energies on the bench Pokemon, like with Malamar. But these are the switching cards. The other standard techs, I guess, we have the, well, not standard, but the Ultra of the Sun is our stadium for this for our choice stadium for this deck. Damn. So if you guys haven't noticed, all of the Pokemon, our main attackers, are fire Pokemon. All of them are weak to water, and especially since this guy is a stage 2 GX, you want him to take a hit. Water Pokemon eliminate the only benefit he might have had with the extra HP. So Ultra of the Sun fixes that problem. If it stays there, we don't have to worry about weaknesses. Now this helps out Metal Pokemon too, which you hit for weakness, and it should be one of your favorable matchups. But Metal Pokemon now have the promo Solgaleo GX, and that Pokemon is so strong. That Pokemon is quite strong, and that eliminates their weaknesses, and there's nothing we can do about it, really. So a lot of the times the help it's supposed to give them doesn't matter anyway. You gotta be careful, of course, when you play it. And for the last sort of tool, I guess, just a regular item card is a choice band. I decided to run this just in case we need that extra oomph. With it, this guy can do 190. Maybe you can surprise your opponent, kill a Buzzwole GX in 1 hit, what have you. Blaziken might appreciate it too. It makes its explosive kick do 240 damage, so you can take care of a lot of the stage 2 GX Pokemon, like maybe Gardevoir, perhaps, Scizor, not Scizor, but Sceptile. That guy's weak to fire anyway, but just a few Pokemon that maybe Blaziken wouldn't be able to take care of. Even Scizor that I've mentioned, that extra damage does help because that guy, he can block your damage with the Frying Pan, he can block damage with using Steel Wing, so sometimes even this guy can't kill him in one hit. Yeah, so you never know when you might need that choice band. So that's basically it for the items. Then we gotta have the supporters. The supporters is standard. The 4 Cynthia is standard. The 1 Copycat is standard. We gotta have our 2 Lily and 1 Elm. We have a bunch of discard outlets in this deck, so Lily is good. Most likely you're gonna use this turn 1. Sometimes you might use Elm. Elm is just great. Grabs us Torchic, grabs us Shuckle. Can even grab as Vulpix, and we can use that too. So it's a very good card for sure. It's great to run it. And if everything else fails late game, I can just grab the cards and thin my deck if I don't have another supporter anyway. Uh, we have the 2 Liza, so I guess I have this as an extra switching option too. So maybe that's why it's okay not to run like a second skateboard or another switching card. Draw 5 and it can become a switch too. And we have the 1 of Guzma too. I like running one of this at least in this sort of a deck. It can come in handy because it helps us switch to pool. So good card. And then only 1 Volkner as my Skyla card. You never know what kind of item we might need. Ultra Ball, Skateboard, a Switch, maybe the candy of course. A lot of good stuff to get. And that's basically the main skeleton, and then the rest is just 12 fire energy to round up the rest of the cards. 12 fire energy. And that's basically it. It seems really strong. It seems great on paper, but it does struggle. It can be kind of slow. If you get lucky, you can explode turn 1, and then luckily when you use your Cynthias and your Lilies, you see the rare candy together with the Blaziken and stuff, and you have that sort of luck. That can happen. I built the deck to be consistent, but of course it's not going to be like a Malamar where you just run stage 1s. You don't have to spend the rare candy space, and you can run better cards, other cards. It's much better in that regard. But I really wanted to try it out. I got the cards. I was hard getting this guy because it's from Dragon Majesty. Haven't managed to buy physical Dragon Majesty packs. I wish this deck really was as good as the original uh, Ray Blaze deck, the Blaziken deck from the Team Magma, EXT Magma Team Aqua days. Back then, where you use this Blaziken with Blaziken EX and Rayquaza EX from EX Dragon. That deck was tier 1 back then. It was a top deck. Unfortunately, this sort of recreation, revamped version with these cards isn't the same because of the rare candy rule. If we had the fast rare candy, maybe it would have been a different story and lack of some other cards, but you might still make it work. I'm going to show some games and hopefully it can work. If you want to try it, this might be a solid list to try at least. But I do want to stress that if you're going to go in a tournament, then you should probably look up some other options instead of this deck. Unless you really, really want to use it and you really want to win with it and you really want to perfect it. But you know, it is very difficult. I've even had some matchups that are supposed to be easy like Metal, and they can give you trouble. And you gotta play against slow decks if you have a shot. Faster decks really just can fuck you up hardcore. But anyways, this is the deck list, guys. It's quite simple, really. If you open with this guy, you dump your fire energies. You're gonna use the GX attack. If you open with Vulpix, maybe your strategy is a little bit different. We have a bunch of switches, so we can get this guy in the active position if need be, and put the fire energies with Chuckle, get them back. Get them back with Blaziken. Standard stuff. And I don't think I forgot to talk about anything else. This is the list, and I'm gonna show some games too. So, hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you're not subscribed, now is a good time to do so. My channel is an excellent hub for all things Pokemon TCG. Check out my playlist. You're bound to find something for your interests. I'm gonna post matches with this deck, of course, too. That's one of the things I do. But hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you guys subscribe. Leave a like. Share this with your friends. And thank you guys for watching. Cerebral 54 was sad.